In this video, I'm doing a position analysis from the 2023 Ultimate Backgammon Championships finals between Sander Lylloff and Masayuki Mochizuki. Thank you for joining me. I hope you enjoy this video. Please like and subscribe, and you'll be notified every time I upload a new video. Please let me know what you think in the comments below and what you'd like to see in future videos so I can work on that. Thank you to Marc Olsen and the Backgammon Galaxy team for allowing me to use this position in this video. My book, Backgammon Backgame Strategies, is available. There's a link in the description to where you can get it. And if you're interested in lessons, please email me. My email address is in the description. So in this video, we're going to go through this position, and I'll show it to you here. So this is the position. Sander is playing the orange checkers at the top, at the bottom, and Mochy is playing the blue checkers at the top. This is the position. It's the first game of a 7-point match, so 0-0 to 7 or 7 away, 7 away. Orange has 2 checkers back, blue has 2 checkers back. This is the position, and orange has a 3-2 to play. Pause the video, think about how you would play this. I'll put a link in the description to the exact moment in the video so you can see what happened, and then we'll look at the analysis in a moment. Okay, so let's look. It looks like with the 3-2, you can use these 2 spares here to perfectly make this 3-point, and then you'll have a 3-point board just like the opponent. Okay, so looking at it, the top play actually happens to be not doing those, not touching those checkers at all. That turns out to be a blunder. The best play is to play 24-21 and lifting this blot with 10-8 like this, which results in this position. And that allows you to split against this priming formation and have spares here for flexibility without leaving blots on both sides. The natural play is to use these 2 checkers to make the 3-point, resulting in this position. It does make a 3-point board, but then these 2 checkers are still stuck behind the prime. So let's take a look at the dice distribution. On the upper left is the top play of splitting and lifting the blot, and on the upper right is the second play of making the 3-point, and this is the equity difference. So there are big swings on the rolls of 6-3 in terms of a positive swing, and the biggest negative swing, which is not that big, is with a double 1. So we'll take a look at that. And this is how they play. So if you make the top play after a 6-3, blue will hit with 13-4, but with the other play, blue will hit with 24-15, and we'll look at that in a moment. And these are all the other plays. You see the biggest difference is here and here. So that's what you want to think about, the swing rolls. And this is the double 1, and we'll look at that in just a moment. So this is after making the top play of splitting, and now blue rolls a 6-3. The correct play is to hit 13-4, resulting in this position. Now here what happens is, although orange is on the bar, orange can hit with any 4, double 2, 3-1, and 3-2. So that's 16 numbers, okay? And at the same time, blue still hasn't done anything about these back checkers. On the other hand, if you make the 3-point and now blue rolls a 6-3, blue is going to hit 24-15, resulting in this position. Now, what happens here is orange has a 3rd checker sent back, is still on the bar, but now has 3 checkers sent back, and 1 blue checker has partially escaped to safety. So orange will have 3 checkers back, and blue will have what I call 1.5 checkers back. 1 checker back, and then 1 halfway back, because it's not completely escaped. So this is a big swing. Now let's look at what happens with double 1. So if you make the best play of splitting and lifting the blot, and now blue rolls a double 1, the correct play is shifting here and splitting the back checkers, which results in this position. You still have two checkers back, and blue is able to split his back checkers. On the other hand, if you do this, if you make the 3-point and then blue rolls a double 1, it's a similar play, having to shift from 5 to 4 without hitting and being forced to move up from the 24 to the 23 point, which is not as good. But the gain here, it's almost a 50-50 game. So it's not as big a swing. This is how the second roll plays. So this is not blue's rolls. This is orange's rolls after blue makes a play. So this is after the top play on the upper left, and this is after making the 3-point on the upper right. And the difference is here, and you can see the swings here. And what we're going to look at is the position. So this is the position afterwards. So imagine blue makes some sort of a play, usually maybe just bringing something out here or splitting this back checker or something like that. Now, orange has a lot of flexibility with these spares, 1, 2, 3, to make points here, like the 4-point, the 3-point, the bar point with the 6-1, and other numbers to anchor with 3s or 2-1. Should he roll a 2-1, if he could do that, or make the 4-point, depending on the position. Also, 8s will come out. So 6-2 and 5-3 become good, and double 4s, as well as rolls like 6-4, 6-5 come out. Double 5s comes out, and double 6s will come out too. So you have a lot of good rolls. On the other hand, after you do this, what are you going to do next? There's not a lot of flexibility in this position. You don't have spares on these points to make a good point or do something productive. 6-3 will make this point, which is good, but that duplicates the 3s that you need to get to the edge of the prime. So you really have to do something about this and maintain the flexibility. So let's look at the original position, and to understand it better, we'll make some variants. We'll modify the position to see what happens. So here, making the 3-point is a blunder. It's a 169 millipoint error, 169. Now, let's see what happens if we move blue's checkers from the 7-point to the 8-point. What this does is it allows these back checkers to see daylight. And what that means is if you roll a 6, you can bring one out here and then possibly continue or play something else. But in the previous position, that's blocked. So orange cannot escape with a direct 6. So that is important. And then what happens is, although it's still correct to split, now making the 3-point is only an error of 52 millipoints. That's a big difference. That means having this 7-point is a major consideration in terms of how you should play. Now let's look at what happens if you still have the 7-point, the bar point, but now an extra checker in the zone. One checker has been moved from blue's midpoint to blue's 6-point. Now splitting becomes a little bit more dangerous because blue has an extra checker in the zone. It is still correct to split, but now making the 3-point is even closer. It's only a 40 millipoint error. Let's see what happens when there's 2 extra checkers in the zone, one on the 6-point and one on the bar point. Now the 2 plays are very close. It turns out that on the plus-plus analysis, making the 3-point is slightly better than splitting. The reason is because when there are many checkers in the zone, you can be attacked and closed out and blitzed much easier. So with 8 checkers in the zone, you don't have to worry about it so much. With 10 checkers in the zone, you have to be careful. And with 9 checkers, it's somewhere in the middle. So you have to look at all the entire position and take all the considerations into account. Okay. Now, if you have 2 checkers into the zone and they're stacked like this, it becomes clear to make this 3-point. And if the 2 checkers are like this, it's even more clear. Now, let's see what happens if you have the 8-point instead of the 7-point and there's 1 checker in the zone. It becomes better to make the 3-point because there's an extra checker in the zone and you still see daylight, so you're not so worried about being primed. Okay, so this is a position from Backgammon Masterclass. And this is a book that was written by Mochy and Marc Olsen and Alec Barr, published recently, which discusses these things very well. This is the first chapter that Mochy wrote. He talks about priming versus blitzing, and look at the structure. So this is the position in that book. This is a money game, and it looks similar to the position we had, and orange has a 3-2 to play. So pause it and think about how you would play the 3-2. Okay, so when you look at this, this is a priming formation here. You see how these points are 3 contiguous points in a row, and he has the option of possibly making a 4th one here. The characteristics of a priming formation is lack of stacks. So there's not huge stacks in the inner board or the front structure on the offense. There is a stack here, but we're talking about the forward structure. And the higher inner board points are made. So the 6, 5, and 4 points are made, as opposed to when you have a early double 5 blitz, you have the 6, 3, and 1. Those are deeper points. So the strategy against the priming formation is to split or try to escape, and you want to avoid slotting plays. So it turns out in this position, it's correct to do that same sort of split, 24 to 22, and lift this blot 11 to 8 for similar reasons. So the tips for this are to split to try to escape against the priming formation, but avoid splitting against the blitzing formation when there are 10 checkers in the zone. You always want to consider how your opponent's rolls and your rolls play in the next sequence. So you can look at the dice distribution feature in XG, and I've developed the 2-roll dice distribution for US BGF members. I have a video on that. If you don't understand the reason why a position is correct or why a play is correct in a given position, you want to examine some variance. So just like what we did, we added extra checkers in the zone, we moved the checkers, we moved things from the 7-point to the 8-point. You can do all of those things. And also, I definitely highly recommend reading Backgammon Masterclass. Chapter 1 talks about these types of plays. The other chapters are very good too, but the first chapter is pertinent to this position in particular. So that was the position analysis from the 2023 Ultimate Backgammon Championships between Sander Lylloff and Masayuki Mochizuki. Thank you for joining me. I hope you enjoyed this video. Please like and subscribe, and you'll be notified every time I upload a new video. Please let me know what you think in the comments below and what you'd like to see in future videos so I can work on that. Thank you again to Marc Olsen and the Backgammon Galaxy team for allowing me to use this position in this video. My book, Backgammon Backgame Strategies, is available. There's a link in the description to where you can get it. And if you're interested in lessons, please contact me via email. I look forward to seeing you in future videos. And until then, keep rolling your dice.